Hey everybody, today we're going to go over lesson 2, 5.2 on ratio tables. Um, so in order to talk about ratio tables, you have to know what an equivalent ratio is, and that's just kind of like an equivalent fraction. It's describing that same relationship just in smaller or larger numbers. And you can find these equivalent ratios by adding or subtracting in equivalent ratios or multiplying or dividing by the same number. So when you add or subtract, you don't have to use the same number, but when you multiply or divide, you do. And then you organize all your information in these handy things called ratio tables, like this, and this, and this. These are all ratio tables, okay? So first thing that we're going to talk about is this example number 1. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to fill out the equivalent, all the missing values to make equivalent ratios in this chart. So if I have 1 pen for every 3 pencils, then I want to know how many pencils am I going to have if I have 2 pens. So did I ruin my marker? Nope, it still works. Okay, so if I have 1 pen for every 3 pencils, and I have 2 pens, so I can add or I can multiply. I can add here, and I get 2 plus 1, and then plus 1 I'll get 3, plus 3 I get 6, plus 3 I get 9. Now I can't multiply there. The reason I can't multiply is because it won't work down here. Remember, when you multiply or divide, you have to do that by the same number for the top and the bottom values. So if I said 1 times 2 is 2 and 2 times 2 is 4, that's not going to work down here. 3 times 3 is 9. Oh, 9 goes over there. So you kind of have to mess around with your original ratio and your missing values in order to figure out the correct answer, okay? We look at these answers here. You see that for the top, they're just adding 1, and in the bottom, they're just adding 3. So here are your equivalent ratios: 1 to 3, 2 pens to 6 pencils, and 3 pens to 9 pencils. Example B, 1B, is kind of looking for the same thing. How many dogs and how many cats? If I have 4 dogs and 6 cats, that's a lot of pets, first of all. And then I want to know how many cats. If I have 12 cats, how many dogs will I have? So do you see how they're multiplying and dividing, or they're multiplying by the same number, but when you add, you don't have to do that. Let's go ahead and look at the on your owns, number 1 and 2. Oops. Okay, we've got plantains and bananas. I'm just filling out the ratio chart. Okay, so here is my ratio chart for plantains and bananas. And I kind of have to figure out, I know that this is going to be a 6 and this is going to be a 12. If I multiply by 2 and do 3 times 2 is 6. I multiply by 2 here. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is not 12. So I can't do that. I can't do a multiply times 2. But I can do an add 4 and add 4. So 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. So I know that this works. And that ratio still stays the same. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. So there is our equivalent ratios. I guess maybe I should be putting answers in a different color. So here's that and that. Okay? On your own, number 2. I have to figure out what to do here. So I can multiply 5 times 2 to get 10. So if you're If you start off multiplying, then you always have to multiply to write your equivalent ratios. If you start out adding, you always have to add or subtract to find your equivalent ratios. So 5 times 2 is 10. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 4 is 32. 10 times 4 is 40. Again, those are my equivalent ratios. 5 to 4, 10 to 8, and 40 to 32. We're doing a lot of how do I change my numerator, or how do I change my euros and dollars at the same rate to write an equivalent ratio. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and look at example number 2. Number 2, you're making sugar water for your hummingbird feeder. You're supposed to use 4 parts water for every 1 cup of sugar, or 1 part of sugar. You can use, for the parts, you can use like cups, you can use tablespoons, you can use quarts, you can use gallons. It just has to be the same size container every time that you make that ratio. So if I wanted to use 20 cups of water, I start off with 4 cups, and it just kind of scales up. Now they could have done 4 times 5 and 1 times 5, but they wanted to show each step, because this is one way that you could solve it, just adding repeated addition each time to make larger and larger quantities of hummingbird sugar water. So it shows you, here's one example where you're using repeated addition, and here's method number 2 where you just use that multiplication fact. Let's go ahead and look at the on your own number 3. So if I wanted to use 24 cups of water, what I could do is I could take my, I have 5, that's why. Okay, so I took this last column right here, this 20 and the 5, 20 cups of water and 5 cups of sugar. And I know that they were changing at a rate of +4 and +1. So if I plus 4 here and I plus 1 here, 20 plus 4 is 24. 5 plus 1 is 6. It would be 6 cups of sugar. Okay. On your own number 3 says if I wanted to make it even sweeter for these hummingbirds so they had lots of sugar energy to flap their wings, and I wanted 3 parts of water for every 1 part of sugar. If I used 9 quarts of water, how much sugar would I use? So if I used 9 parts of water, how much sugar would I use? So I made my little chart again. 3 parts water to 1 part sugar. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 3 is 3. So I would use 3 cups of water, or 3 cups of sugar. All of ratio tables is really just looking back at the how the numbers are changing and trying to find that pattern. Doing a lot of patterns in this unit. Okay, we are going to go over example number 3 just real quick. We're going to go over one more and then I'll give you your homework for tonight. All right, on this ratio table we're talking about crackers and sodium. You find that there are 240 milligrams of sodium in every 36 crackers. So that's going to be our first part of our ratio table. 36 crackers, 240 milligrams of sodium. Now, if I only eat 15 crackers, how much do I eat? How much sodium do I eat? And I'm trying to just reduce and get to the point where I have 15 here. So you see what they're doing in the table is they're changing by the same rate on the top and on the bottom. So they divide by 2, they divide by 6, they multiply by 5. So you have 15 here. So if I only eat 15 crackers, I'm eating 100 milligrams of sodium. Now the question is, The next question is, if I eat 21 crackers, how much sodium do you consume? Now I can keep trying to mess around with numbers. I can take the 3 right here and multiply it by 7, and the 20 multiplied by 7, I'll get the same answer. Or, because 18 plus 3 equals 21, I can add 18 and 3, and I can add the 120 milligrams and the 20 milligrams. I get 140, and I know that I eat 140 milligrams of sodium. So you can also combine the rates to find out if I only had, or if I decided I was very hungry for crackers and I wanted 54 crackers, I could figure out how much sodium I ate by adding the amount of sodium for 36 crackers and for 18 crackers. You just put the numbers together. We're going to do one more on your own before I give you homework. In example 3, you eat 24 crackers. What if you eat 24 crackers? Okay, so 24. What numbers can I put together to make 24? Or what else can I do to make 24? Well, I have 3 crackers here, right? So if I multiply 3 times 8 and add another spot to our ratio table, 3 times 8 is 24. So then I have to multiply the 20 times 8. So yeah, that's kind of the steps that I wrote down. Take 3 crackers, you multiply it by 8 to get the 24. And then I take the amount of sodium for 3 crackers, which is 20 milligrams, and I multiply that by 8. And that is 160, nope, yeah, 160 milligrams of sodium. That's how much sodium I eat. All right. Your homework tonight is to do page 201, number 6 through 25, all of them. And I will post a video Thursday morning that goes through all of the answers, just like I did today. I'll post that video, and then you will tell me which ones you got right and how many you got right, and then ask me questions so that I can go over them Thursday in class. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions. Oh, for my morning group, I will post the video Wednesday late, probably around 7 o'clock. So you'll have time if you would like to watch it Wednesday night and then see how many you got right. No, not Wednesday night, Thursday night. See how many you got right so we can go over them in class on Thursday. When am I going to post that video? Oh, yeah, I'll probably post it tonight. I want to be able to go over these in class on Thursday. All right, let me know if you have questions.